Bloodhound Q50 was there when Bloodhound Lil Jeff got killed.
He was, yeah.
Right.
Bloodhound Lil Jeff got shot and killed. He got shot 12 times, and you actually talked about this.
19.
The streets are buzzing with the leaked final moments of Lil Jeff, the Bloodhound's most feared enforcer. Known as the Pistol Professor, Jeff lived and died by the code of the streets, leaving a trail of bodies and a legacy of chaos. From his alleged hits to his ruthless lyrics, Jeff embodied the violent life he rapped about, emulating his idol, King Von. Now, as footage of his last stand surfaces, the world gets a raw, unfiltered look at the man behind the myth, Lil Jeff's last moments. Lil Jeff and his right-hand man, Q50, were no strangers to the streets. These two were the heart and soul of the Bloodhound Gang, known for their ruthless lyrics and even more ruthless actions. Jeff's raps weren't just bars, they were blueprints for the life he lived. He'd spit about jumping out of cars, chasing ops, and turning blocks into war zones. And on June 8th, he was living out one of those verses, until it all went sideways. Surveillance footage leaked from that day shows Jeff, Q50, and another shooter rolling up to South Rhodes Avenue, a block Jeff had name-dropped in his raps more times than we can count. The clip starts with Jeff hopping out of the car, gun in hand, and immediately lighting up a dude in bright yellow shorts, later identified as Man Man. Man Man ducks behind a car, bolts up a porch, and tries to dip into a house. But Jeff, he's right on his tail, firing shots like he's in a music video. But here's where it all goes wrong. Someone inside the house starts blasting back. Jeff, caught off guard, gets hit and stumbles backward, collapsing at the bottom of the porch. And then they unload on him. Reports say Jeff was hit 19 times, with shooters dumping an entire mag into his body as he lay there defenseless. While Jeff was on the ground, Q50 and the other shooter were still in the mix, trying to hold it down. The footage shows Q50 slipping and falling as he tries to return fire, injuring his ankle in the process. But even limping, he kept shooting, even taking pot shots at a passing car. Why? Some say the driver was linked to Man Man, but we may never know for sure. What we do know is that Q50 was outgunned and outmanned. When the driver of their car realized Jeff was done for, he dipped. But here's the wild part. Q50 and the other shooter actually circled back, grabbed Jeff's lifeless body, and took him to the hospital. Yeah, you heard that right. They spun the block, dodging bullets, just to give Jeff a chance. But it was too late. Q50 was the one who saw Jeff take his last breath on the way to the ER. The streets don't stop for nobody, not even a legend like Lil Jeff. By June 9th, the news was everywhere. Twitter was on fire, Reddit threads were popping off, and the police scanners were buzzing with chaos. But for Jeff's crew and family, this wasn't just another headline. This was personal. Jeff's dad took to Facebook, posting throwback pics of his son with the caption, "World." He didn't hold back either, writing, "Let it be known y'all didn't get him. He came trying to get y'all, and what happened happened." But the saga continued. Clear the streets. Some called him out for glorifying the lifestyle, but others understood the pain of a father who lost his son to the same streets that made him a legend. Then there's Q50. Jeff's cousin and right-hand man didn't waste time crying. In a chilling post, he called Jeff his brother and twin, and vowed to do exactly what Jeff had told him to do. Translation: revenge is coming. And if you know Q50, you know he doesn't make empty threats. But here's the thing about the streets. Sometimes, people don't listen until it's too late. After Lil Jeff's death, Q50 made it clear that the Bloodhounds weren't going to let this slide. He vowed to finish what Jeff started, and anyone who knew Q50 knew he wasn't playing. But Trap City, the set allegedly responsible for Jeff's death, didn't seem to care. In fact, they doubled down on the disrespect, mocking Jeff and Q50 in the most brutal ways possible.
They call Q50 slide right here, man. We do whatever. That's what they call him slide now, man. We slide, he's right there.
In the days following Jeff's death, Trap City members took to social media to clown the fallen rapper and his crew. Videos surfaced of them reenacting the shooting, laughing as they mimicked Jeff's final moments. One clip showed a Trap City member pretending to collapse on the ground, shouting, I'm hit," while his friends laughed in the background. Another video featured a group of them chanting Trap City K, a direct jab at Jeff's death. The disrespect was a next level, and it didn't stop there. Instagram became a battleground, with Trap City members flooding Lil Jeff's mentions with taunts and memes. The streets were watching, and Trap City was making sure everyone knew they weren't afraid of the Bloodhounds. Meanwhile, the man who took down Lil Jeff would soon become a hero in the Trap City community. The name on everyone's lips after Jeff's death was Trap City Rob. also known as I Trap Rob. According to Chiricology, a Reddit user who claimed to have cracked the case, Rob was the one who fired the shots that took Jeff down. Rob had reportedly been arrested several times at the house where the shooting took place, and after Jeff's death, posts quickly circulated naming him as the shooter. A news article confirmed that the shooter was wanted by police, and on June 16th, Chai users appeared to identify Rob in a new post. In the photo, Rob was wearing a shirt that seemed to troll Jeff and the way he lost his life. The caption, Trap City K. But despite the speculation, Rob was eventually arrested and later released without facing any charges for Jeff's killing. The streets were furious, and the Bloodhounds were left with more questions than answers. The feud that got Lil Jeff killed. Yo, y'all already know the name, Bloodhounds. This ain't just some random gang. This is a clique that's been holding it down in Chicago for over a decade. Thanks to rappers like Lil Jeff, Q50, and Vert, the Bloodhounds became one of the most well-known sets in the drill scene. But let's keep it real. This ain't no overnight success story. The Bloodhounds have been deep in the streets since the early days of drill, and their rise to fame is as gritty as it gets. The Bloodhounds were formed during the original drill wave in the early to mid 2010 when Chicago's underground rap scene was just starting to blow up. But don't get it twisted, this ain't just one gang. The Bloodhounds are more like a coalition, a clique made up of members from 4 main sets in the Chatham and Woodlawn neighborhoods: Drill City, MTV 079, 400 East, and Chris World. Most of the members come from Drill City, which is why the Bloodhounds primarily claim Drill City's territory. That's the stretch of 79th Street from Ellis Avenue to Cottage Grove. If you know Chicago, you know this area is no joke. It's one of the most dangerous blocks in the city, with shootings, fights, and police chases happening on the regular. This is the same block where Lil Jeff and Q50 can be seen flexing in Jeff's music video for Should've Saw It. The two are posted up, walking around like they own the place, and in their minds, they do. However, that soon changed when a feud between the Bloodhounds and Trap City broke a decade of peace between the gangs. For years, the Bloodhounds and Trap City ran together under the banner of Bloodhound 0679, a coalition that included Drill City, 400 East, MTV 079, and Chris World. This alliance was supposed to be unbreakable, a united front against rival sets. These sets were locked in, with no major beef, just holding it down together. It's wild how something as small as a chain can spark a war, but in the streets, respect is everything. Back in 2023, Drill City members allegedly jacked a chain from a Trap City affiliate. This wasn't just any chain, it was engraved with 67 stalking, a symbol of Trap City's pride. To outsiders, it might seem petty, but in the drill scene, that's like stealing someone's crown.
They know what they do.
So, okay, the Bloodhounds, y'all was cool.
Everybody got a
That was my homie. He stole the chain, bro. We tried like he took it. He stole my own chain.
Trap City wasn't having it. They cut ties with the alliance, and the streets quickly divided. Most sets sided with Drill City, leaving Trap City isolated and furious. The tension was thick, and it didn't take long for the first shots to be fired. The real turning point came on March 16, 2023, when Z Money, aka Z Nelson, Jeff's cousin and a key figure in the Bloodhounds, was gunned down in a brutal ambush. Z Money was posted in his ride on 79th and Kimball, waiting for his homie to finish up at the dry cleaner. Out of nowhere, a whip pulls up and shots ring out. Z Money tried to dip, but they caught him in a hail of bullets, over 29 times. His boy returned fire, but it was too late. Z Money was gone. The streets started buzzing with rumors. Some said Z Money's own people, his old crew from Trap City, set him up. Others claimed it was over a girl or a stolen chain. Whatever the reason, the trust was shattered. Jeff and Q50 tatted Z Money's name on their eyelids and Z's on their trigger fingers, vowing to make Trap City pay. Lil Jeff wasn't the type to let a slide go unanswered. In June 2023, he made his first major move. Trap City member Leal, real name Jaleel Goins, was sitting in an Uber in the Little Italy neighborhood when Jeff allegedly pulled up and opened fire. Little Italy, also known as University Village, is one of the most upscale and gentrified areas in Chicago. It's a neighborhood known for its trendy restaurants, coffee shops, and low crime rates. But on this night, the streets came calling. Leal, a member of Trap City, was in the back seat of the car when someone approached on foot and opened fire. Witnesses reported hearing more than 20 shots, suggesting the use of a high-capacity firearm. The shooter didn't miss. Leal was hit multiple times through the rear passenger window. The ride-share driver, Robert Smith, acted quickly, rushing Leal to the hospital, but it was too late. Leal was pronounced dead upon arrival. For Smith, the experience was traumatic. He later shared how Leal likely passed away during the short drive to the hospital, a chilling reminder of how fast life can be taken in the streets. Leal's death sent shock through the community, not just because of the brazenness of the hit, but because of who he was. Leal was well connected to Project Hood, a local organization dedicated to combating violence in Chicago. Pastor Corey Brooks, the founder of Project Hood, confirmed that Leal was the son of an employee and released a statement mourning his loss. "We are deeply saddened by the loss of Jalial Goins, a young man who was connected to our organization through his family. This senseless violence has to stop," Brooks said. Despite the high-profile nature of the case, no arrests were made. The shooter vanished into the night, leaving behind a trail of questions and a community in mourning. In his music and social media posts, Jeff taunted Trap City over Leal's death. The very next day, on June 26, 2023, Lil Jeff, JB Bin Laden, and Q50 dropped their remix to Lil Yachty's Coffin, reusing the beat and creating their own version of the song. The timing was no coincidence. The music video, filmed before Leal's death, begins with Q50 showing an old video of Z-Money, emphasizing the impact Z-Money's death had on their lives. The lyrics are filled with the usual themes of violence and retribution, but one line stood out: "Catch him in a fishbowl, now he's swimming with the fishes." In the trenches, a fishbowl is a car with no tent, basically a death trap. And when Jeff dropped that bar, everyone knew exactly what he meant. Leal got left in a rideshare whip with clear windows, and Jeff made sure the ops knew that was no coincidence. This wasn't just rap, it was war music. The Bloodhounds weren't playing with Trap City, and Jeff made sure to let the whole city know. His name was ringing bells, and his rep as a fearless, ruthless stepper was only growing. But Jeff wasn't done. Just 2 months later, on August 31st, 2023, the Bloodhounds slid again. This time the target was Glendale. An alleged Trap City member posted up at a Clark gas station on 67th and Eberhart. Out of nowhere, the shooters pull up and let loose. Glenn gets hit multiple times and barely makes it out alive. That same night, Chicago was on fire. 4 people got shot in Woodlawn, including a 4-year-old kid. Glenn survived, and the next day he hopped on social media, thanking everybody who checked in on him. But he didn't stop there. He had a message for the ones who wanted him dead. And let's be real, that was aimed straight at the Bloodhounds in Drill City. The war only got bloodier. January 2024, the streets got even darker. Monterio, Monty Drench Williams, and Robert Lil Rob Boston, 2 brothers from Nitty Block, got gunned down in broad daylight. This wasn't some sloppy hit. This was a carefully planned execution. The shooters waited for the perfect moment, then let it rain. Monty and Lil Rob were big names in their set, and their death shook the whole hood. Jeff, he wasn't about to stay quiet. He hit social media with subliminals, throwing up cryptic messages and taunts aimed straight at Trap City and Nitty Block. If you knew, you knew. And in case anybody was still wondering, his music made it clear. Tracks like Double Trouble and Street Confessions had fans dissecting every bar, piecing together the real-life bodies behind the lyrics. This wasn't just music, this was a scoreboard, but the streets don't forget, and Jeff wasn't untouchable. Trap City wasn't about to let him slide without consequences. In a ruthless move, they went after one of his closest homies, Lil Squirrel. The message was loud and clear. Anybody standing next to Jeff could get it. Lil Squirrel's death hit different. For all the savage talk, Jeff was still human. He took to social media, venting his pain, calling Squirrel innocent, claiming he wasn't even in the streets like that. But in a war like this, it don't matter if you bang or not. If your name is tied to the wrong side, you're a target. And by now, Jeff knew that better than anybody. The post was a rare glimpse into Jeff's vulnerable side, showing that even he wasn't immune to the pain and loss that came with the gang lifestyle. But it also fueled his desire for revenge. The streets of Chicago became even more dangerous as the cycle of violence continued. Lil Jeff's violent reputation. When it comes to Lil Jeff, the streets got a million stories. Some say he was a real-life demon, catching bodies like it was nothing. Others claim he was just another rapper who got too deep in the trenches. But one thing ain't up for debate. Jeff wasn't just rapping about the life, he was living it. By 2024, he was a full-blown gangster, riding through Chicago ready to step on whoever crossed him. Jeff's story starts in the far south side of Chicago, where he was just a scrawny 12-year-old with hoop dreams. But the streets had other plans for him. Rumors about Jeff's alleged involvement in murders go all the way back to September 2014. When he would have been just 12 years old. His first alleged victim, an 18-year-old named Molly Ma, real name Kamal Burton, who was reportedly affiliated with the H-Ray mob. The murder took place in the old Goo Gardens community, and while some claim Jeff was involved, it's unlikely. At the time, Jeff was a kid, more focused on basketball than the street. Even his older brother, Jay Boogie, was only 16, though he always looked older than his age. According to a CPD spokesperson, Molly was approached by 2 men who opened fire, making it improbable that a young Jeff was involved. But even if Jeff wasn't pulling triggers at 12, his environment was shaping him. In an interview with DJ U, Jeff revealed that his childhood was far from normal. His father wasn't present, allegedly standing on business with the 068 C block, and his older brother Jay Boogie was already deep in the streets. Jeff said, "I've been seeing this my whole life. I got an older brother, so this ain't nothing new for real." One pivotal moment came when Jeff witnessed the murder of Kenny Mack. Another was when his family's house was shot up. Jeff recounted,
My crib got shot up when I was like 14. I was some stupid ass. The bully that flew like right past my face. They had shot the back and the front. Then they blew the car and set that on fire. It was busting. I ain't gonna lie, it was going on. They almost hit me, though. You see what I'm saying? Though, shit like that, they play a part.
These experiences, combined with the harsh realities of Chicago's South Side, molded Jeff into the person he became. By the time Jeff was 18, he was fully immersed in the gang life. In the same DJU interview, he admitted,
I'm gonna say when I came outside for real, I was like 18 type.
okay.
I just turned like 18.
But once he entered the street, there was no turning back. Jeff became a key figure in the Bloodhounds, a clique known for its ruthless reputation and deep ties to the streets. Jeff's mother seemed to encourage his violent tendencies. In a now viral Instagram story, she praised him, saying, "Go ahead, son. Your name ringing bells in the streets." I said, "Is that my boy?" She even expressed pride in him for sliding on kids he used to share a bed with as a child. By 2022, Jeff had become a legend in the streets. When he dropped his first track, The Bloody Family, he wasn't just another rapper from the trenches. He was a force of nature, a walking nightmare for anyone who crossed him or his gang. Rappers feared him because he wasn't just about the music, he was about that life. And when it came to sliding on his ops, Jeff didn't play games. He was the pistol professor, and class was always in session. When it comes to Jeff's alleged victims, the list is long and often debated. Some rumors are more credible than others, but one thing's clear, Jeff's name was always in the mix. One of the more obscure names is Lil Gutta, real name Ronnie L. Sear Jr., an alleged member of the Hit Squad who was killed in 2021. Gutta was shot on the 700 block of 79th Street, just a short walk from the intersection of 79th and Maryland, a spot frequently claimed by Jeff and other Bloodhounds in their music videos. However, there's little concrete evidence linking Jeff to this murder. Another name often mentioned is Black, real name Roger Lewis, a 33-year-old OG from the Evans mob, who was killed in a drive-by in March 2022. The issue with this theory is that Black's alleged killer was arrested and charged the following month, making it unlikely Jeff was involved. In 2022, Jeff took a major loss. His close homie Jamarian Lawston, better known as JMO. Word on the streets is JMO was tied to the 066 79 Alliance, and when he got dropped, Jeff wasn't about to let that slide. Some say this was the moment that turned him into a real stepper. His first body might have been about getting revenge for JMO. Bloodhounds been mentioning Jay's murder in their music, hinting that he got caught slipping outside a corner store or gas station. But Jeff wasn't just putting in work in Chicago. Rumors say he was catching bags in Milwaukee too. A photo popped up of him chilling with some Milwaukee gang members, straight out of a music video featuring rappers like Ghost, 53206, Super Throwed, Fade, and Cracks. The Bloodhounds been name-dropping Milwaukee in their lyrics too. JB Bin Laden even rapped about them having blood for hire, basically saying they were selling hits. Jeff himself rapped about being in Milwaukee like the Bucks, and Q50 claimed in a leaked track that he had bodies from state to state, including in Milwaukee. But let's be real, ain't no hard evidence backing up these claims. One of the more solid rumors ties Jeff to the hit on Lil Pooh, real name Pierre Bouza Jr. Pooh was supposedly with Flipside and maybe even Trap City. On April 9th, 2023, just weeks after Z-Money got hit, Pooh was found laid out on the front lawn of his crib in Sauk Village, riddled with bullets. Police still ain't solved the case, but Jeff wasn't exactly quiet about it. He damn near confessed on social media, and even in an unreleased track. In the song In Your Home, Jeff raps about Pooh dissing Z-Money and describes someone getting left in the grass outside their house, damn near a bar-for-bar breakdown of Pooh's crime scene. The track later made it onto Jeff's posthumous album, Stepping in Blood. But here's where it gets messy. One of Pooh's own homies from Flipside actually paid respects to Jeff after he died, while a rival crew called Hadway also claimed they were the ones who got Pooh out the way. And when Jeff got killed, Pooh's brother wasted no time celebrating, clowning the fact that the same dudes who dissed his bro ended up meeting the same fate. While many people would have wanted to leave a legacy different from being known as a killer, Lil Jeff isn't, since he so wanted to emulate another rapper for his killing reputation. King Von, born Davon Daquan Bennett on August 9th, 1994, emerged as one of the most feared figures from Chicago's South Side. Like Jeff, Von wasn't just a rapper, he was a product of the streets, a young man who rose to fame not just for his music, but for his reputation as a ruthless killer. Von's reputation as a killer was built on a series of high-profile incidents that solidified his status as a legend in the streets. On October 14th, 2012, Von allegedly killed Modell McCambry and injured his cousin while they were on their way to meet a girl. This was one of the first incidents that put Von on the map as a dangerous figure in Chicago's South Side. Less than a month later, on October 29, 2012, Vaughn was suspected of killing Derek P5 Johnson outside his home. P5 was a well-known figure in the streets, and his death sent shockwaves through the community. In 2014, Vaughn allegedly killed Jakira Barnes, a 17-year-old girl who was suspected of being involved in the murders of several O-Block members. Barnes, who had a history of violence, was shot multiple times in the Woodlawn neighborhood. Just like Jeff, Vaughn's life was cut short in a violent altercation. On November 6, 2020, Vaughn was shot and killed in Atlanta during a fight outside a nightclub. While many people would have wanted to leave a legacy different from being known as a killer, Jeff wasn't one of them. He embraced the chaos, the violence, and the danger, and he died doing what he loved. For more content like this, click on the video showing on your screen now.